Hello and welcome to season 2 of Pehchaan. I never thought we'd get here, but here we are. And at the end of season 1, I had left a big tease that I would have a new co host for season 2. So this is going to be the big reveal for who that co host is. You might have met her before, but before I formally introduce her, I want to take a minute to explain what season 1 was about and why season 2 is going to be a little bit different. Season one was really about exploring why I felt like I had lost a home when I immigrated from Pakistan to the US, and it was about losing the sense of home. And somehow I ended up inviting people. I didn't do this consciously, but most of the people who were on season one were born in Pakistan and had immigrated to the US. And so it was very similar to my story, and their stories were about losing the idea of home as well. The only person I think who was born in the US who I interviewed in the last season was Amreen. And that really sparked sort of, a whole new range of conversations for me about how it's not just about losing the idea of home, but also building a new home, building a new identity, being unapologetically Pakistani American or whatever that means. I remember when I was chatting with Amreen in our podcast together, she said, we're immigrants, but we can't be immigrants forever. Like, what's the plan? And so season 2 is about sort of exploring what that means. And so, with that, and no surprises here, my co host for season 2 will be Amreen. And Amreen, I'm so excited you agreed to do this with me. So, what does it feel like to be sort of co hosting a podcast with New Jersey's answer to Karan Johar?
Oh, I love that. It is a dream come true, honestly. Like I've always wanted to do podcasting, but didn't have the technical skills to really figure it out. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity. I absolutely love meeting and interviewing people. It's one of the things I love about what I do for my job. And it's just so cool to have this platform to talk to all these people who are very exceptional and have all these cultural connections to us. I do have a quick fact check for you. I was not born in the United States, but close. I came here when I was 5. So I was definitely raised here. But I think part of my story, kind of my connection to Pakistan, comes from the fact that I wasn't 100%, born and raised in the USA. But anyway, this isn't about my story. Now we're going to get into other people's stories.
No, absolutely, and that's a good fact check and a reminder. And it's interesting how even though I know you now pretty well, even I had put you in a box, and that's what we are. Like none of us can fit into a box for long enough to be boxed in. Um, this was, we're shooting this intro after having shot all the episodes, so we know a little bit of what's coming. And I think Amreen, one of the most fascinating things about season 2 is the diversity of what Pakistani Americans are actually doing and the fact that so few of us know it. So we interviewed a friend of yours, Noran, who is a Pakistani American leading Girl Scouts of America. Like, who would have thought a Pakistani American would be in that role? And she's not just the first Pakistani American or first Muslim to do it, she's also the first millennial leader.
Mhm.
Then we had Kashif Sheikh, who sort of leads the Pillars Fund and sort of is reimagining Muslim philanthropy beyond zakat. Is working with the who's who of Muslim Hollywood. Hassan Minhaj, Riz Khan. And really sort of thinking about how Muslim representation shows up in pop culture. And given where the world is, like now you realize the importance of that, like what Rami did at SNL. Like I think what Pakistani Americans are doing now and the frontiers at which they're at is something that I hadn't thought of even when I started the podcast. But you've been around for a lot longer than I have within the Pakistani American experience. Like, what was your reaction, like speaking with some of these folks and learning from their journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think I knew a lot of like guests for season 2, so I know that there are these exceptional individuals doing tremendous things. But I think bringing them together on this platform and really taking the time to get to know their stories and their success really kind of humbled me and made me realize what tremendous strides our community has made. 20, 30 years ago, the Pakistani community in America was really small and largely people that, had their heads down and was just trying to make a good life here, whether they had immigrated here a long time before that or were just new arrivals. I think today we see an exceptional number of people just blazing trails and, trying out new things, innovating, like what Kashif is doing is, he's sort of entrepreneurial in a way and defining a new ground for Muslims in America. Nuran just sort of taking her like lifelong engagement with Girl Scouts to the ultimate level and running Girl Scouts of America, which is so cool. Just really embedding ourselves into American society and feeling like we are a part of that fabric, but to become a part of the fabric, we don't have to lose our own identities. I think that's one of the themes that really stood out to me. And it was just incredible having these long, in-depth conversations about what fuels all of us. I feel like a couple of our guests, we definitely felt like we were doing group therapy together because we're all sort of trying new things. And sometimes when you don't have like a roadmap ahead, it's a lot harder, right? Because you're making it up as you go and you don't really have somebody to follow. You are really like the leader.
That's so true. And this reminds me of one of the themes that we explored in season two, which is, you know, one struggle is to figure out your own identity and feel like, do you feel American? Do you feel Pakistani American? What does it mean to be Pakistani American? But then there's another part of it, which is, does the world view you as American or Pakistani American, or what do they view you as? And the fact that, we don't. I always think about this question that's going to trip me up, which is when I go on vacation now and somebody asks me, where are you from? Do I say America or do I say Pakistan? And neither of them are true and neither of them are false. Like if I say I'm from America, they're going to be like, but where are you really from? And if I say I'm from Pakistan, that's not completely honest as well. And I think I still don't have a good answer to this question. Maybe I'm just going to say New Jersey, from by way of Pakistan. But it's interesting. And one more thread that we explored in this season, which really still struck me, is I had started season one wanting to find answers for my daughter, because I was like, how do I answer identity questions for her when she asked me? And I think the one big answer that I have at the end of season two is I can't answer those questions for her. It's her job to answer those questions, and I can barely answer them for myself. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's gonna stay with me, as I go through this. So it was quite a packed sort of season in terms of what we learned and the insights that we got out of it. All right, I think I'm going to say, there's nothing else left for me to say. I think in terms of building up season two. Anything else, Amreen, that you want to say as a final word? And then we will leave it to our audience to pick it up from there.
I'm just so glad that we have this platform that Pehchaan will be, available on YouTube for people to find at any time. It's kind of up there now and part of the kind of way that we are documenting our society. Because I don't think we've ever really elevated like Pakistani leaders in this way. And I think season one plus season two really shows how Pakistanis are breaking ground and making impact, regardless of whether, they're from Pakistan or the United States. Maybe the next season, we take it somewhere else and we look at Pakistanis in another community. But I just think that kind of pulling all that together means a lot for our community and for young Pakistanis like your daughter, my kids, like to have access to those stories and to know that, the people that came before them wrestled with a lot of the same challenges they will, but also found incredibly rich lives, wherever they landed. And I think that's really inspiring. I'm really proud of it. So thanks again for having me. I'm so excited to be part of this.
Awesome. Well, we're excited for you all to watch season two. Now, just like Ambreen knows all my jokes and all my tired lines on the same podcast after podcast, you will also know sort of the same jokes every time I'm using them. But we are very excited for you to watch. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Let us know. Give us feedback. Your feedback, I can't tell you. Every time I get like a positive piece of feedback, I send it to Ambreen. I send a screenshot. I'm like, look, we got this. We're like kindergartners who come home from school and show like our parents, like, this is what we got today. We got a star from our teacher. Like, it really is what inspires and energizes us to do this. There's really nothing else. And how, when you tell us how much like this is your story and the fact that this is striking a chord with you, it makes everything worth it, including me trying to figure out how to make this camera work and how to make this mic work. Like, that's what keeps us going. So thank you for watching, for supporting us. Keep listening and let us know what you think as you watch season 2. All right, thank you.